We are going to get this show on the road. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of our Closer Look webinar series. My name is Zoe. I'm a Senior Programs Manager here at WCN, and I'm thrilled to be moderating today's session for you. This closer look is happening outside of our usual time because of the time differences between us here in the US and our incredible guest speakers joining us from Indonesia and Malaysia. So I want to extend our heartfelt thank you to Virly and Farina for spending their Saturday mornings with us. And of course, thank you to all of you for tuning in from wherever you are all over the world. I just saw the chat. We have supporters from everywhere. So quick housekeeping note, please don't forget to drop your questions in the chat throughout the presentation, both of the presentations. That way we'll have them all queued up and ready for the Q&A at the end. And now I'm going to introduce our speakers. Virly isn't just protecting the world's richest coral reef, she's redefining how marine conservation works on a local and global scale. As the chairperson of the Misool Foundation, Virly helps lead and manage a 300,000-acre marine reserve, which Tom Baker is clearly going to next week. Lucky him. Virly helps this massive marine reserve, and they're doing amazing work over there. They have a huge recycling initiative and a community-driven conservation model that has empowered local communities to take better ownership of their coral reefs. Her impact extends beyond just the oceans. Virly led a lobbying campaign that successfully banned single-use plastic in Raja Ampat and Sorong City, which is amazing. And it proved that grassroots action can drive meaningful policy change. She has also helped expand Misool's plastic collection efforts and ensuring that conservation isn't just about protecting marine life, but also is creating cleaner and healthier communities. She is a leader who is showing the world that conservation and community well-being go hand in hand. And then from the reefs of Indonesia, we will travel to the rainforest of Borneo, where Farina's journey in conservation started with a deep love for Bornean elephants, but has since grown into something even bigger, a movement to inspire the next generation of conservationists. As a founder and director of Seratu Aatai, Farina is working to reshape the relationship between people and the elephants, building a future where coexistence is possible. Her leadership has been shaped by years of dedicated support and mentorship, and she has since paid that forward by mentoring and inspiring the young women scientists in Malaysia to pursue careers in wildlife conservation. So for what started as a personal mission to protect Bornean elephants for Farina has evolved into this large vision of solidarity, which is quite fitting considering that Seratu Aatai literally means solidarity in her local language. Today, Farina continues to be a champion, not just for the elephants, but for the people who share their home with the elephants, and working to ensure that conservation is both sustainable and inclusive. And now I'm done talking. Take it away, ladies.
All right. So today we're taking you to the Southeast Asia, and I'm so grateful to be here to share this story with you all. And I will start with sharing our journey in protecting the world's richest reef. I would like to invite you all to imagine this place as a fish bank. Oops. On. Whoa. Sorry for the glitch. All right, and then, okay, we're back. And imagine if these saving are drained and there's no way to refill them. Or imagine if you were a fish and then your home being slowly taken apart piece by piece. This is what we are facing now. And span in 300,000-acre Misool Marine Reserve is not just a reef. It is actually a global treasure. It is a home for 75% of world coral species and over 1,600 fish species. It represents a lifeline, not just for a marine life, but for the communities and also ecosystem globally. In our first decade of work, this place was threatened by shark finning, turtle poaching, and the dynamite fishing. And since 2008, Misool Foundation, together with Misool Resort, our sister organization, we initiated Misool Marine Patrol to protect the reef and make this place as a no-take zone. So our rangers did more than 1,000 patrol trips annually. And this resistance brings us success in eliminating destructive fishing for the reef ecosystem. With this effort, from 2007 to 2021, we have achieved an average fish biomass increase of 248% and 180% increase in the shark abundance inside the reserve and also outside of the reserve. For us, this is not just a recovery, but it is a transformation. After ensuring the main threat has been eliminated, our rangers started to restoring the damaged reef. This is what it looks like now. And with our commitment to restore 1,000 square meter damaged reef per year, we have restored more than 5,000 square meter reefs since 2018. And with our initiative, we also want to ensure to develop the next guardians to our reefs. In the past 3 years, we started to work with the only 3 available high schools in Misool that serve 13 villages. And our outreach team conducted more than 150 lessons in these high schools and engaged with more than 300 students just in 2024. And our outreach team, they also introduces the class to the reef restoration work with our team in the field. This enforcement measure has been so successful that this reserve, the no-take zone, was chosen as the nursery site for the groundbreaking shark rewilding initiative, or ReShark. Being part of this project, it is very important milestone for us because we've been trusted as a shark and ray sanctuary as a perfect place to bring back these endangered species. 7 endangered leopard shark or zebra shark have been released into the reserve as part of this project, with more expected to be released later this year. This is a very ambitious project, and the team is targeting to release 500 leopard sharks over the coming years. Oops, okay. So, however, the dynamic in the community, we are facing different challenges. In early years, our approach to make this no-take zone work is supported with a local tradition called sasi. And the sasi is a tradition widely practiced around the coastal Papua and Maluku, including Misool. It is a form of customary and traditional resource management that they limited the extraction from certain area and then open it again for a very limited time. And they also measure the size of the species that they're taking. Let me show you. So this is the shells that they're collecting during the sasi. So originally, Misool community only take these lola and batulaga. This is type of snails, which the shells were very valuable back in few decades ago. And back then, even if they only take it for 1 to 2 weeks during the open sasi, it was enough for them to make a living. But in the past few years, the price of the shells dropped very drastically. The price now is almost nothing. And in November 2023, we experienced the challenging reality that these changes push the local tradition community in Misool area to plan a sasi event around the island within the Misool Marine Reserve. And then they wanted to include the period of fishing with traditional hand lines, which is, of course, it is prohibited in the no-take zone area, as well as it is overlying by the government-managed Raja Ampat Marine Protected Area Network. So we responded this by coordinating with the local authority and then negotiating with the community as well to agree to specific guidelines, including no fishing on the reefs and no destructive fishing techniques. Regretfully, these guidelines were not followed in multiple instances, and in specific areas, a small number of fishers broke the local and regional law. And it should not in here that Misool Foundation Rangers are not authorized to take a punitive action in the field. When we realize these changes, we're focusing on building stronger collaboration and adapting our approach. And by the end of 2023, we answered the community request to share our knowledge about the reef restoration near the village where the homestay are located. Previously, they didn't believe that the reef restoration that we're doing is gonna work. But after they seeing the proof, now they're starting to restoring the reefs. They started to think a long-term investment on their reef too, as they're developing the tourism area around the Misool. We also assist the community with income generation program in the community, such as agriculture program that began during the pandemic, and the sustainable fisheries that just launched by the end of 2024. And they already generated income of $3,500 in just 3 months. And with all of our effort and with your support, we can expand these initiatives in restoring damaged reef, educating future generations, and ensuring the fish bank is never drained. Together, we're not just protecting a reef, but we're securing a future. So moving from the underwater and the coastal area, I'm going to hand it over to Farina, who will share her story about the Farina Othman. Go ahead,
Right,
Farina.
thank you. Thank you so much, Virly. So we are going to Kinabatangan, which is about 1,600 kilometers away from Raja Ampat. This Kinabatangan is a floodplain. The river, Kinabatangan River, is the longest actually river in Sabah. And here a lot of people and wildlife are depending on this landscape. It's provide a lot of ecosystem services. And before I first arrived in Kinabatangan in 2005, and I was told by the family that I live with them since the beginning that Lower Kinabatangan once it's a very lush, rainforest. The tribe, the people that live in this landscape is known as the Sungai people or the river people. So both forest and also Kinabatangan River provide them livelihood. They got their protein resources from both forest and also from the river. And they told me that they can't see any wildlife, especially elephants. They might hear the sound of elephants once a year, but they never seen them until and also the lifestyle of these river people. They depend really a lot on the river. So they are fishermen, and they most of the time they get all the resources from the river and from the forest. However, and I remember this freshwater prawn, which we call as udang-gala. This one is really, really hard to find nowadays. I remember when I went to the field, I don't even have to bring any fresh food with me. So once we finish our field work, we can just go to the river, bring our fish nets, and we can start, get some protein from there. And we cook. So this picture was taken in 2007, and this was the last time when we get to see like the boat full with prawns. So starting from 1970s, the logging industry started in Kinabatangan. So slowly, the people of the river people, they started to change their lifestyle as well. They got involved in this industry, and slowly they started to have conflicts with wildlife, especially elephants, because now the habitats are becoming more fragmented, and the contact between people, the interaction between people and elephants are getting more frequent, because they never have, or they have very little experience sharing or seeing elephant. When they encounter with elephant, they don't know what to do and how to understand the behavior of elephants. This is where the conflict started. So now, from being fishermen, the river people, the orang sungai, started to also plant after the logging industry ended in around 1980s. They started to convert the landscape to oil palm. So most of with the subsidy from the government, for example, the river people starts to becoming farmer right now. So from being fishermen and really depending on the river, now they are changing their lifestyle to become farmers, smallholders, oil palm smallholders. So again, because of very little experience living with big animals like the Bornean elephants, when they see elephants in the area, they don't know how to react, and they always feel unsecured with the presence of these big mammals. So it's very dangerous, because when they're trying to do elephant control without understanding elephant behavior, then it can provoke the elephants and can cause incidents. And as we know, the smallholders' land is not big. So each of the oil palm trees means something to them. It's mean a lot, actually. So it's like one tree can, if they lost one tree, that means it can really interfere with their livelihood. So how do you balance? How do you try to get them to support conservation when they don't have the skill, they don't have the very little knowledge about these species, and at the same time they feel they are secure, they don't feel safe, and also it can disturb their livelihood. So that's why we try to work with them, having a dedicated team in each of the community as a frontliner. We think that by giving knowledge and skills to this dedicated team, they then can help to support their community. So when they understand how to peacefully deal or divert the elephants from sensitive area to more safe area, so then we can avoid any incidents, and also reduce the potential of crop damages and also properties damages. So now we have almost 40 team in different communities, and they also been taught, or we also with them, together with the community, we try to understand the behavior of this elephant. So in this video is actually a group of male elephants, and these elephants, they are known to be like a resident, like a permanent resident. So the elephant that just came just now, his name is Manny, and they actually, in this video, they are communicating with each other. They plan, they make decision, they form a group to survive in this risky area. So by understanding the behavior of these elephants, individual elephants, then we hope that we can come up with a more specific mitigation rather than treat all the elephants the same, because some of them are, taking more risky than the others. So the team, they also involve in citizen science. They know what is the importance to understand, to identify elephant, for example, to understand elephant behavior. We call it we put some satellite collar on elephants so that we can understand the movement of this elephant and identify where are the critical area for them. And also at night, because they are younger, they have more energy. They help to, because elephants, when they come to the village, they will come at night. So what they do every night, when there are elephants nearby the community, they will stay up and help to protect or to make sure that the elephants will not go to sensitive area close to the housing area, or they will divert elephants to the exit area where this elephant should go. And by doing that, at least at night, this picture was taken at night, this elephant can spend time still feeding at the grassland that are where foods are available to them. So we don't deny the needs of these elephants to access to this critical area, and at the same time, the community can also feel safe that these animals will not come and potentially damage their crops and properties. At the beginning, we don't really get a lot of support from the older generation, because for them, it's about the safety of their family, and also that they need to, make sure that they produce livelihood and things like that. But over the years, when they see the spirit and the how much the younger generation, like the community honorary wildlife warden, are contributing to help the community and to make sure that elephants are also safe, now they begin to start opening their mind to also contribute and be involved in reducing conflicts. So by having them right now, we are working on installing what we call as the community integrated electric fence. So instead of individual individual putting electric fence in their farm, everyone will come together right now and decided on one area that are more critical to protect, so that we can still, elephant can still have access to the area that they need to go. At the same time, the community can still protect their crop. So that is very, very positive for us, because working with community, you really need to always engage and talk to them and try to put yourself in their shoes to understand what are their challenges. So we are trying, we will continue to support this youth. And before I end my talk, I would like to share with you a short video, and I hope you enjoy it.
Aku Meni. Ramai orang ingat aku hewan yang besar, tapi sebenarnya aku spesies gajah paling kecil di dunia. Aku istimewa kerana gajah Borneo hanya ada di Sabah. Aku tinggal di Kinabatangan sudah lebih 30 tahun. Kinabatangan cantik, luas, hutan, tempat yang sangat sesuai untuk aku hidup. Aku suka berenang, bermain di sungai, makan pokok-pokok di sekitar. Sudah lama kita hidup bersama di sini. Kita berkongsi tempat yang terhad ini dengan semua hidupan. Tetapi sekarang, Kinabatangan sudah berubah. Setiap tahun, hutan semakin mengecil. Laluan yang selalu kami pakai sejak dulu, kini sudah tiada. Manusia ada di mana-mana. Kinabatangan banyak berubah, tidak seperti dulu. Demi kelangsungan hidup, aku cuba yang terbaik untuk menyesuaikan diri, kerana aku tidak ada pilihan yang lain. Bantulah aku, wahai manusia, supaya aku boleh terus hidup di kawasan yang kecil ini. Aku tahu kamu akan sentiasa mempertahan dan melindungi aku. Kita boleh hidup bersama di kinabatangan ini. Aku percaya hanya kamu akan menjamin masa depan yang terbaik untuk aku dan gajah Borneo.
Selamat menyambut Hari Gajah Sedunia.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, ladies, for the enlightening presentation. It's truly inspiring to hear about the impact you're making. And having been to Borneo and met some of Farina's team firsthand, I can say with certainty that Bornean elephants are in very, very good hands. And now, Virly, I'm just waiting for that invite from you for Misool. And just like some of you may have seen, Tom and Julie Baker, who are with us tonight, they are actually visiting Misool next week. You too can actually visit Misool to see the incredible conservation work that you're supporting and meet the team in person. And if Bornean elephants is what has captured your heart tonight, you too can travel to go meet Farina and the team. And now we are going to shift to the Q&A session and hear from our audience, you guys. And if you haven't yet, please make sure you put your pressing question in the chat. We'll kick things off with a question for Virly, where Claire is asking what kind of sharks are most common in marine reserves?
It is very common for us to see black tips everywhere. So mainly you can find other reef shark species in Misool and also in Raja Ampat Wider area. Recently, from our shark abundance study, we found a guitar shark, which we never found that before. So it's quite amazing.
Awesome. And Farina, Claire would like to know what is the most surprising place or surprising behavior that the team has observed for an elephant?
There's a lot, but this morning I want to share one behavior. Our male elephants that is in mast, you know, when you have this fluid coming on the cheek, so that means that they are ready to reproduce, right? They will make a very special whistling sound. I can't kind of show you what's the sound because it's so unique that I'm still learning how to do it myself. So when I was whenever we hear that sound, it's like a warning for us. Oh my God, there is a bull elephants in this group, so we will all be more careful. And also, it's that's the way male elephant like promoting himself to the females that hey, I'm coming here to find like a partner. So be ready, who is something like that. So I think that is very special, and I have actually my one of our team member is doing a research to describe this sound.
That's amazing. Elephants are very fascinating animals. Jonathan would like to know if the land is community owned or is the organization purchasing land for protection?
Yeah, so it is so for the independent smallholders, these land are owned by them. And then you have another kind of what we call as organized smallholder, that is their own land, but they're given away for a company to manage the area for them. So different type of smallholders we have to approach them differently because they have different resources. Yep.
Awesome. And Verily, there was a comment from Gina who said she loves seeing the coral reef restoration happening at Mort Marine in Florida, where she's from. They have undertaken a large coral reef restoration project, and they've indicated that they've seen some positive results so far. And she says this is giving her hope.
Yeah, that's amazing, and same as well in here, because in the first place we a little bit pessimistic that the community will join us to do the same thing, but because they didn't see the proof at that time. But now when they see that there are more fish coming in the reef restoration area, and then they cannot even see the artificial structure, they say like, can we learn from you? So that really brings hope for us as well.
Absolutely.
Happy to share that with you.
This question is for both of you. I'll have Farina answer first, and then Virly, you can follow. How do we ensure that communities stay involved in this work and that they benefit directly from these programs?
Okay, thank you for the question. I feel first of all, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of this community. Although we know it's important to conserve, but if we don't understand the challenges and the barriers faced by the communities, then for sure they will see us only, like in my case, as a elephant voices, not people, but only people can make the change. So first of all, you need to try to put yourself in the shoes of this community, and always do your activities, your program with the right intention. Like you really want to help the community. That's why when we first started Seratu Aatai, it's not because we need to have Seratu Aatai. We want to help the community. So Seratu Aatai is a platform for us to be able to do that, and slowly, with passion, with a lot of a lot of passion and honesty and transparency, they will see that you are wanting to help them, not for only for the elephants or for the wildlife.
And from my side, from Misool, so far when we're developing our approach, we always sit down and consult with the community. And then, for example, for the reef restoration project, we know that it might be resistant for them in the first place if we directly go to them and then say like, hey, you have to restore the reef. But we started slowly, little by little, restoring the reef in front of our lodge, just in front of our ranger station, and then invite them to see when they're bringing their guests from the homestays, or when they're just like going out for fishing in a different place, and then they swing by, and then we invite them to see the reef restoration area and see the proof that if we are protecting this, then the benefit will come to you. And then for other projects, we always want to hear what they need first, and then to include them from the first step. It's to ensure that they have the sense of belonging for all of the approach that we have.
Amazing. And this is why WCN partners are special. They bring the special source of community-based conservation. Amazing. Farina, Anya would like to know who helps to instruct the teams with understanding elephant behavior or mitigation of human-wildlife conflicts. Is it behavioralists or scientists, or are locals the ones who have the knowledge and understanding of these animals firsthand?
Oh, thank you. So it's a mix. Seratu Aatai, first we work closely with another NGO, which is also a partner of WCN, Hutan KOCP. So most of the time when we first started is learning by doing mistakes. A lot of observation, and we do send also our team members to learn from other team, like for example in India we also have people come here to Borneo to also help us understand better. But most of the time it's based on respect. All, even the community also based, we started with respect. We understand that the elephants also need space, and from there we do a bit of research. For example, in my PhD, we understand that how the social structure looks like, understands where are the area. So it's mix of learning from other people experience and do mistakes and learn from our own experience, and now we want to share with other people as well.
Absolutely. And Virly, how does climate change impact your work?
Oh, that's interesting. We've been monitoring the heat, the temperature underwater. So we planted our temperature logs in several places. And it is not a surprise that the temperature is really increasing. And then we are currently working with other NGO that they are testing about the most resilient coral species. So then we can adapt that result to our reef restoration to ensure that we're not just restoring the reef with any coral species, but adding more of the most resilient species. That is something that we're looking forward to do in the next couple of years. And in different places in Raja Ampat, there were mass bleaching event, which is very devastating for us to see. And hopefully it all still can recover very soon if the temperature is lower. So
yeah, that's tough. Melanie says that the Oregon Zoo team is visiting Farina in April, and there's lots of visits happening. Now I'm jealous. Alan Stewart is also heading to Misool in 2026, and he's asking if there's anything that they can bring that will help the team. And I think probably you have a long list of wish list items. So I'm going to have you connect with Alan Stewart offline so that he can play. We call it Father Christmas where I'm from in South Africa. So yes, you guys can connect afterwards. But Melanie also wanted to know from both of you, and we'll start with Farina for this one. Was COVID a problem in terms of reducing tourism and therefore making the local communities sense that this is not like a sustainable option?
Right. So we are so grateful, to be honest, that COVID didn't affect the tourism activities so much in Kinabatangan. I guess because Kinabatangan is already so super well known for if you want to see wildlife, and it's easier to go to Kinabatangan than the others. So it's actually more merrier. I mean, after the COVID, it's like a lot of like a bed and breakfast, and even resorts are fully booked because it seems like people are so excited to be able to travel again and be closer to the nature. So it's not a big problem after the COVID for our tourism. But at the same time as well, because they are more like oil palm industry also started their program again, especially the replanting. So elephants are more attracted now to spend time in the oil palm landscape. So it's like a a balance between getting the elephants to stay in their safe area, but also working with other industry to make them understand the need to have elephant part of the landscape.
Awesome. And what about you, Virly? How did COVID affect tourism, and what has that done?
it was pretty bad actually for the tourism because Raja Ampat and in a wider area in West Papua, the government, they closed the border. It more strict compared to the other part of Indonesia. So yeah, it was pretty bad for the tourism, but we learned a very big lesson in there in the community that they have to think first about the food security compared to the economy and or the income. So they started to grow the plants, so they grow the vegetables, so they can thrive during the hard time. But for the ecosystem, it was actually pretty good because the number of the fish biomass at that time was spiked. And maybe if you were stuck in Misool at that time, you're literally diving in a fish soup. So but on the other side, since the community knows that there are no tourism activity going at that time, it was also threat from the fishermen to try to get into the no-take zone to fish. So
Yeah. Nature did restore during COVID.
yeah.
Gina would like to know, Farina. She says she's seen where elephants are learning to gravitate towards palm fields when they hear the harvesting equipment so that they can clean up what is left behind. Have you seen this happening in your region?
Yes. So it's really I mean the palm trees, the middle part of the palm trees is so sugary and is so attractive, and the volume is so much, like a lot of replanting happening. So it's like a festive food festival for these elephants. And it's just amazing to see how they change by hearing the sound of the heavy machine. It's like a recess bell, ringing. So you can start seeing elephants are coming, and they really follow the replanting, the rechipping program from one plantation to another plantation. So yeah, it's this kind of adaptation, the change of the behavior of elephant make us like, oh my God, they change again. Like, okay, what's next? It's we always have to be dynamic. We always have to be creative to think about this. But yeah, hope so this is why what we're telling the community and all the stakeholders, that whenever we plan for something, you really have to be ready to change immediately, because elephants, they learn and make decisions.
Alan would also like to know, Virly, what are some of the more resilient coral reef species, and are they the same in other reefs as well? Is it the same family?
So now it is still under the survey. So currently the researcher is still doing the thermal test, and then we wanted to try to use different to adapt this study with a different variable as well, not just the testing with the higher or lower temperature, but we also wanted to test with the water quality. So we don't have the answer right now, but hopefully we will have that in this year.
And hopefully by the time Alan comes to visit, you'll actually have the answer for him.
Yes.
A question for Farina was whether you are involved in any One Health programs, and if so, what are you doing?
Currently, Seratu Aatai, we have not directly involved. We do have involved in the discussion from time to time, because one of the our concern is more like a TB, so tuberculosis for elephants. That's the only kind of disease that can infect man. I mean, more like if one one person have TB, they go closer to the elephants, they can infect the elephants. But we're also working with different facilities, different experts on EHV, the elephant herpes virus, which can affect baby elephants. So we are getting a lot of support for Oregon Zoo, for example, to understand better and come up with solution because this EHV can affect the baby elephants, which is quite scary if you have babies, more babies in the captivity. Yep.
Great. Okay, so as we all know, none of this work is free. Someone is sitting at home and they're wondering, what can their donation of $5 or $50 or $100, what can that do for your project? So Virly, I'm going to start with you. What are your financial needs for 2025?
So in 2025, we are running with a total budget of 880,000, and we're aiming to raise around 360,000 US dollar. And it all goes for the environmental education, ranger patrol, and the reef restoration, also the waste bank program.
And what about you, Farina?
So we are for a lot of our funding are actually coming from US Fish and Wildlife. The thing is with the US Fish and Wildlife, what is good about this grant is it will give you a longer commitment. So at least we know that we secure for 3 years to 4 years, and they cover salary, for example. Our biggest challenge is to cover salary for our team members. So unfortunately, because of the current policy, we have one grant that is being held, for hopefully it will not be cancelled. So this project, we want to start working with the oil palm industry plantations to come up with a mechanism how you can create coexistence in this landscape. So what we are thinking, we need to make sure first we have this this funding hopefully will not cancel. If not, we require about 150,000 at least for this year and a bit for next year to continue doing this program.
Awesome. Well, folks, you heard it here first. Your $5, your $50 donation will go a long way towards helping them meet these targets. Okay, let's see what other questions I have. Julie would like to know, Virly, how are you actually doing the reef restoration? What is the process?
Oh, so previously we learned using the rebar, like the flat rebar mesh, and then you have the flat one, and then the dome shape as well. Or we just use that. Depends on the topography that we're doing the restoration. But now we're doing that more with the web spider shape. It's shown a little bit in my presentation, but it's already covered. And we only take the natural broke off coral fragment from around the area. So now we're planning to develop the coral nursery after we figure out the most resilient species. So we're not just taking the opportunity from the natural broke off coral fragment, but we actually want to have that in our nursery. So yeah, we use that artificial structure, and then we just attach the coral fragment on that artificial media, and then let it grow. And our full team reef restoration, they're doing the monitoring to clean the algae and then to make sure the survival rate of the reef restoration is high enough. Based on the last monitoring, the survival rate of our reef restoration area is about 85% to 90%.
Oh, Farina, are all palm plantations still expanding in Sabah, or has the government limited further expansions?
So in Sabah, there is no more. So expand by doing deforestation, cutting the forest is not allowed anymore. It's both from the government and also for the international certification, as you know, as the RSPO. So it is not allowed anymore. But then they can do, like replanting. Right now, the most of the plantation, they are doing replanting because the oil palm trees can stay there only for 25 economically viable for about 25 years. After 25 years, they need to replant the trees. So this is where you expect to have more elephant presence in this landscape, and it will happen for another 10 years or so, because this program is not being done straight away. It is in stages. So this is an opportunity for us to engage with the industry to rearrange their landscape, so where they can put corridors, where they can put, mostly corridors for wildlife, for orangutan, for elephants. So that this is the critical time for us to engage with them and work closely with them.
Awesome. Jocelyn, we are going to connect with you outside, offline, because this is a good question, and I think it would be a good question for someone at WCN to respond, is with regards to the US grants and bills that they should be actively supporting that help these projects. We are going to end on a good note because it is a Friday night, well, at least where I am, and it is a weekend. Let's just put it that way. So I'm going to ask both of you, what gives you hope in the work that you do? What gets you going, gets you fired up in the morning, both besides coffee? Virly, you can start us off.
I think because I know that I work with a very passionate team on the field, and then you can really see the hope in their face when they're really happy doing what they're doing. And just the last few weeks before this presentation, I went to one of the high school, and then one of the kids, he stood up and then said like, "Thank you very much for what you are doing, because you're taking care of our reefs." And I never thought that I would ever hear that from a student, from a kid. And then when he said that, it was like, it's just like make me close my eyes with all of the challenges that we have, and it just like keep doing what we're doing. So I think that's what really makes me feel hopeful presently.
Farina, what about you?
So for me, I think what gives me hopes is that every time I meet different stakeholders, I always see them so positive. I always see them, they want to do something. It's just that they don't know how and where to start. So we have like a wool ball. Yeah. It's so complicated. Like everyone, they want to do something. It's just that how do we do this? And they understand that the first thing is to come together and understand what's the barrier and how we can reduce it. For sure, we cannot eliminate everything, but at least if we can reduce this together, the keyword is together, then that give me hope, because this is not one team or one person or one organization. It has to be everyone together. Solidarity. That gives me hope.
Awesome.
Including everyone here, although you are so far away, right, Barely? Like having
Yeah.
all of you behind us, it feels that it's so we feel stronger.
Absolutely. What a fantastic discussion for a Friday night. Virly and Farina, thank you again for sharing your stories and insights with us. And to everyone who joined from around the world, thank you for being part of this conversation. And if you didn't get to your question or you have other comments, please send them to an email address that someone is going to pop in the chat, so that we make sure that someone follows up with you. And for those that would like to know the answer to Jocelyn's question about US grants and the bills to support, someone at WCN is going to follow up. Leadership is working on some of this and they're going to be in touch. So stay tuned. And if you loved what you heard tonight, which Of course you did. Who didn't? You can come join us in person and meet today's amazing guest speakers and more conservationists from our partner organizations from all over the world at our expo, which is in October 4th in San Francisco. And, you know, I must say, you guys have really great taste. You started your weekend with such a treat, getting a first-hand look at the incredible conservation work happening in Indonesia and Malaysia. And I hope you are carrying this motivation and this inspiration with you for the rest of your weekend. Thank you all so, so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care. Have a good weekend.